Like him or hate him, Floyd "Money" Mayweather is undoubtedly one of the greatest boxers of our generation. In fact, there's even an argument that Mayweather is the greatest to ever step in the ring. With a record of 50 wins, 0 losses, 0 knockdowns, and almost 0 clean shots received, Mayweather is a defensive genius and is clearly the most successful user of the Philly shell style that we've ever seen in boxing. In this video, we'll take a look at Mayweather's impossible skills and untouchable boxing defense, assets that have put him in the GOAT conversation. If you love the sweet science, you're not going to want to miss this one. Mayweather versus De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was one of the only men to ever give Money Mayweather a genuinely hard fight. This meant that Floyd was forced to rely on his defensive genius to get the victory, and boy did he deliver. At the start of round 2, Mayweather used slick head movement to evade a sharp right hand thrown by De La Hoya, before leaning back at the hips to avoid a huge left hook, making De La Hoya look like an amateur. Later, in round 3, De La Hoya decided to go hell for leather and unloaded the tank onto Mayweather. He came blasting forward with straights before backing Mayweather against the ropes and throwing hooks and straights at the American. However, literally no shot landed clean. Mayweather parried every single straight with ease before using his Philly shell guard and hip movement to catch and evade every shot thrown by De La Hoya. Oh, and the worst part? Mayweather was smiling the entire time.
That's not what I said. I said I bet him. I bet 2.5 million. The same bet I gave to Oscar De La Hoya. I bet both of them 2.5 million. Then I will be victorious.
Mayweather versus Hatton. Ricky Hatton was a British superstar during his prime years. Many fans thought that he would be the one to dethrone the American king. Well, nothing of the sort happened during the Hatton-Mayweather bout, as Floyd used superior boxing skill and defense to wear the Brit down and eventually get the victory. Throughout the fight, Mayweather allowed Hatton to be the aggressor and set various traps to counter the eager Brit. Whenever Hatton threw a combination, Mayweather would use head movement and quick footwork to evade the shots, before coming back with his own, which landed flush every time. As the fight progressed, Hatton started to tire and became less able to absorb the counters thrown by Floyd. And in round 10, Mayweather's master plan came to a conclusion. After avoiding a sloppy combination thrown by Hatton, Floyd unloaded with a devastating hook that landed flush on Hatton's chin. This turned Hatton's lights off immediately, and he was unable to make the count. The Hatton fight is a perfect example of just how good Mayweather was in his prime. Hatton was seen as a sensational fighter, and so many fans believed he could defeat Money Mayweather. But Floyd silenced all of these supporters by using his defense to stay out of danger in the early rounds, and then capitalized on Hatton's fatigue later in the fight. Mayweather versus Canelo. Canelo Alvarez is clearly one of the best boxers who is currently active. In fact, only 2 men have ever defeated him in the ring. The first, Floyd Mayweather, of course. Before the two stepped into the ring, many fans believed that this fight would be very close. Mayweather had the experience but was out of his prime, and facing a powerful, fit, and determined fighter in Saul Alvarez. However, nobody predicted just how easily Mayweather would defeat the Mexican. Throughout the bout, Floyd used his world-class defense to make Canelo miss before throwing heavy right-hand counters over the top. As the fight progressed, the Mexican became more and more frustrated, which made him lose some composure, leading to a relatively easy night's work for Floyd. Let's check out some of Mayweather's best moves from this fight. In round 4, Canelo threw a huge jab-cross combination loaded with power and frustration. Cool as anything, Mayweather remained in a tight guard, stepping out of range with a jab and using head movement to evade the backhand. He then came back with his own right hand, which landed flush on Canelo's face. In round 7, Mayweather decided to come forward and become the aggressor. He backed the fatigued Alvarez onto the ropes, landing jabs at will before hammering in right hands to the head and body. Canelo looked completely lost and barely survived the round. Ultimately, this fight showed exactly why Mayweather deserves to be in the GOAT conversation. His skills were simply too much for anyone to handle. Mayweather versus Mosley. Mayweather versus Mosley was one of the most exciting fights that the boxing world ever got the privilege of watching. And throughout the bout, Floyd used his defensive genius to win the rounds and secure a unanimous decision victory. In round 3, Mayweather evaded a jab thrown by Mosley before coming back with his own stiff 2-punch combo, which snapped Mosley's head back and made him cautious to throw sloppy jabs again. In the very next round, Mayweather performed a perfect parry jab counter combination before landing an even more beautiful pull counter and finishing off the flashy combo with a perfectly timed roll of Mosley's lead hook. Honestly, you could watch this one exchange all day and not get bored. If you've ever wanted to study the sweet science and learn the art of hitting without being hit, this fight is a great place to start. Floyd looked like he had just come out of the Matrix in this fight, and once again made an elite, world-class boxer look like an amateur in the ring.
Al Heyman and Leonard Ellaby conduct my bouts, and then we'll go from there. I'm not scared of Shane Bowles. I'm not scared of no fight.
We just want to get it on, that's all. I mean, the fans want to see a great fight. Me and Money Mayweather, let's get this on.
Mayweather versus Pacquiao. In their respective primes, it looked like both Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao were completely untouchable. Both fighters beat any fighter put in front of them with ease, and eventually it was inevitable that their paths would cross. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see this fight whilst Mayweather and Manny were in their prime years. But even at the tail end of his career, Mayweather was able to use his unbelievable skills and defense to secure a decision win over one of the greatest fighters of all time. Throughout the bout, Mayweather was able to combat Pacquiao's insane hand speed with timed defense and precise counters. For instance, in round 1, Manny threw a quick jab, which Mayweather stepped out of before coming back with a loaded right-hand counter. This was the story all night, and Manny just didn't have an answer. Maybe the fight would have ended differently if they fought a few years earlier, but no one can deny what a masterclass Mayweather put on that night. So, there are some of Mayweather's greatest highlights that show his unbelievable skill and defensive genius. But here's the thing, this video is but a scratch at the surface of Mayweather's skill and prowess. We could easily spend another 5 hours checking out his insane abilities. This fact alone highlights just how good Mayweather was. He may not be the most likable guy out there, but he's faced the best the world had to offer and come out on top every time, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest to ever do it. We'd love to get your thoughts on Mayweather, so let us know your favorite money moment in the comments below. And on that note, we'll see you in the next video, fight fans.